Good afternoon. This is Hope Roski with Weddings and Celebrations. It is a wonderful day. We have Stephane Russo as our special guest today. Welcome, Stephane.
Thank you for having me today.
Of course. And Stephane, you've been on before. Stephane is a wedding officiant to become one, correct?
Correct.
So to become one weddings. And so Stephane, you perform both commitment and wedding ceremonies.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about the difference in the two.
Sometimes the commitment ceremony is two people, they may not have the marriage license at the time, but they just want to show each other that, I'm committed to you. And it might be just until we get have a bigger ceremony and can afford that, or I can afford the big ring or something like that.
Right.
So,
and you don't need a license for that.
correct.
Where the wedding.
Right. So for a full wedding, you definitely want to make sure you have your marriage license, and then a lot of times people invite more friends to that event and make it a larger celebration.
Well, speaking of celebration, Stephane, you have really branched out there now because, we talked the last time about certain rituals, and one of them was jumping the broom. Now you've really ventured out into some more aspects, and one of them I'd like to talk about is the sand pouring. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So when you're planning your wedding, you can add things to make your wedding special to you. So one of the things is you can do a sand pouring. And what that is the combination of two different colors of sand, one from each partner, and then you combine those into a jar, a vase, or something like that, and then it shows that the two of you coming together. And then you can place that on your mantle or somewhere in the home, and then every time you look at it, you remember your special day.
That's wonderful. Now, another one you have, and this one is kind of unique, which is the whiskey blend. Tell us a little bit about the whiskey blend.
Now, this is one of my favorites, and this one's more of a newer tradition, where the couple can take two different whiskeys and then blend them together in a barrel. And with that, they can add, their family can, during the rehearsal, can also combine their favorite whiskeys and things like that. Or they can have maybe they drank a certain whiskey on a date, and they can combine those into a barrel. And then at their 1-year anniversary, they can drink those.
So you can save the wedding cake, that and then you could have it with some of the
Exactly.
whiskey, right?
To wash it down.
Just to wash
Right.
it down.
Right.
Okay. Why not, right?
Right.
Okay, and then one of the other ones is more traditional that we see, which is the unity candle.
Correct, and it's kind of the same theory. Each person in the ceremony will hold a candle, and then you combine the flame of that candle to a larger candle. So it's showing how you're individual and the two of you are coming together as one.
I think that's great. And then there's one more, which is kind of a little bit unique. Tell us about that.
And that's a hand fasting. So with that one, again, the same thing, bringing the two of you together, and it's by tying your hands together so that you just show that you're now as one also.
And you don't have to leave and drive home away.
No.
You won't have to do that.
No.
Well, here's a question. Could you blend some of these together, or do you just need to select one?
Well, again, it's your day. You can do whichever ones you want to do. For my wedding, I did a ritual called the 7 spices. And we did the 7 spices, and then we jumped the broom. So we had a kind of a combination of both.
Okay, so tell us about the 7 spices, because I have an idea of what it is, but I just want to make sure I'm thinking in the right direction here.
Well, each spice represents something. You're a little salty. You're a little hot. Whatever they might be. Whatever they might be, and each person will take a small taste of each one of those, and then again, that's just representing you as a couple.
That's wonderful. So one of the big events that you have coming up is October 5th, correct, at Art Hop.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, because this seems like, for those of you who are interested in making that commitment or possibly getting married, this one's for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so on October 5th, which is the first Thursday of October, I will be have a booth at the Art Hop. and it'll be in the section Alley in the Valley. And so what we'll be doing is we'll be having commitment ceremonies. You can come if you want to get married. You can come and have a ceremony there. But if you want to just come for fun and maybe test it out, you could have a commitment ceremony. We'll have rings for you, and flowers for you to use, and photos to take, and things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun.
So is there a cost for people to do this?
Yes, so there will be a cost if you're actually having the actual marriage. But if it's just the commitment ceremony, it's just for fun.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So if you have that special someone that you just decide you want to just have that monogamy and make that commitment, there's no charge,
right,
but you can make that official. But if you want to get married, that's a little bit of a different story. Should people then reach out to you ahead of time and make plans, or this kind of you show up and you kind of wait your turn? Tell us how that all works.
You can do it either way. If you're really planning to actually have a marriage ceremony, it'd be best if you call, just so we could talk over the any special vows you might want, or making sure you have your marriage license. Because if you are planning to make it an actual ceremony, you will need to have your marriage license.
And about how long do each one of these ceremonies last?
Not long, 5-10 minutes. It depends on what you want involved. But the commitment ceremonies will probably be about 5 or 10 minutes. Okay.
Well, that's good to know. So, Stephanie, tell us a little bit more about some other things that you're doing, because I know it's, you're doing this with Art Hop, but tell us about some of the other things that you've done.
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot. We've been very busy.
See, that's a good thing.
Yeah, the summer was really good. There's a lot of love in the valley. So we did some special events where I went to the courthouse and I said, we're going to be in this town for maybe this day, and it's kind of like a pop-up wedding event. And so a lot of people contacted me and wanted to get married. They either were planning it and just hadn't got to the officiant part, or they just decided at the last minute because they saw it and they said, let's get married.
I love it, pop-up wedding. Yeah. So that means they must need to follow you or kind of see what you're doing. How can people do that?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Fresno Officiant.
Fresno Officiant, is that .com or?
No, that'll just be on the social media.
Okay, I've got you. So let's just go back and recap about Thursday. So Thursday, October 5th, this is a two become one wedding or commitment. This will be, again, out at the Art Hop. And the address, I believe, was 887, correct?
Kern Plaza.
Kern Plaza, okay. So you talked about the alleyway. How do the people get out to that so they could find you specifically?
It's right on the main Fulton Street, so it's right off of there. It's just, they just have called it the Alley in the Valley.
The Alley in the Valley, okay. So you need to, and if they have a photographer, what?
Bring them.
All right. Now, do you have vendors too that you can provide to people, or what? Or what are some things that you can provide if people want to call you ahead of time?
So I rent arches, and there's a special telephone that I have that your guests can all leave like a voice message for you for your wedding day when they come in.
That's so amazing. Yeah. I have never even heard about that before. How wonderful.
Maybe next time we can bring it in.
Hello.
Right.
Congratulations.
Right. And then that's another thing, because during the wedding, you're so busy and you're so involved in what's happening. You don't really get to enjoy some of those moments. So with the telephone, you can later listen to it and then hear what your family and friends are saying and their congratulations and any blessings or anything like that they give you.
What a wonderful concept. Well, Stephanie, it's always a pleasure to have you because there's something new going on, and I can't wait till you come back again and hear about more good things. So, folks, if you're looking for somebody who's just fun, creative, and just really organized and have it together, look no further, because that's Stephanie Russo. And if you're just thinking about that last minute commitment, or hey, I want to get married, never know, October 5th could be your time over at the Art Hop. Stephanie Russo, thank you so much for coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. This is Hope Roski with Weddings and Celebrations.